What's up, everybody? It's your guy, Derek 420 Colorado, coming at you live for Talk About It Tuesdays. Woohoo! Super stoked to be with y'all this week. Gonna go over some cool stuff, some canopy management techniques, all kinds of cool stuff for LST, topping, Fimming, Scrogging. Super cool stuff. I don't know how much we're gonna go into detail today about it, but we are going to dip into it. I've got an agenda here as well that I'm going to try to stick to, because I've got some cool stuff coming up. I've got some good, really good information. Got some stuff about the upcoming strains for my next drop. Going to have some cool information about what we're doing here at the Dream Farm and Dream Beans for our favorite holiday, 420, April 20th, coming up in, what is today, the 11th, so 9 days. So yeah, we're going to have some super cool stuff, guys. You are going to want to tune in and stay tuned in here for information at the end about the Talk About It Tuesday promo, about the upcoming drops, all that good stuff after we get some great info. Shout out to Craig Lawrence, who won the Super Dreamer promo pack. As a lot of you guys saw the post that he made. He got his beans and all the clothing stuff I ordered for him, and it's headed out his way. So he should be really stocked up with those Dream Beans and lots of good swag. And let's see, what else do we got here? Let's go on ahead and get into a dab. We'll get that out of the way for everybody that tunes in every week just to watch me choke myself. Oh, we're hoping that we've got enough butane in the torch. In my checklist to get ready. That's one thing that I don't have. I think we're good. That would make me hot. It's also warming up here at the Dream Farm finally. We're getting some super good stuff. It's warming up. It's not being all snowy. The wind has been good. It's been really nice here the last couple of days, whereas generally in the spring and the fall here at the Dream Farm, not as easy to say. Let's see who else tuned in. JR, what's up, Brian? Brian Kelly Brooks, Jimmy, Matt, Sully, John, Craig, Marley. What's up, Miss Marley? How you doing? Let's see, what's the dealio? Hey, Marley, what's up with that job that Mr. Nubby Nubs went for the other day? Shoot me a message, let me know. Let's see, Dave and Ed. See, there's Mr. Green Nub. He's there. He's rocking it out. He's doing the damn thing. All right, so a couple of things that we're going to be also introducing here to Talk About It Tuesday. I'm going to have the Member of the Week, and I'm going to have the Pick of the Week. That's going to be coming. Okay, I'm going to start that in May. All right, so each of these people are going to get a promo pack. This week, we've got Randy Weaver. I'm not sure if Mr. Randy Weaver is watching, but Randy Weaver, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you a 3-pack and some stickers and possibly a beanie if I've got one. Speaking of beanies, these are the new beanies. Got some new beanies in. These are pretty cool. My wife likes them a lot. She says she likes these better than the other ones. I'm not the biggest fan of the pom-pom on the top, but that's just me. Oh, this week's tie-dyes. I got another, got to show you all the tops and bottoms. So, this week we've got the bottoms that are hometown tie-dye. These folks have done some cool pieces for us. So these are the joggers that we got. Super rad. And of course, we're rocking the freshy Dirk McCoy dye, the Dirk's dyes. Y'all check him out. That dude's got some super fire stuff. I just saw a really cool 2X Bella thing that he did that I was super jazzed on. Let's see what is so Member of the Week. Member of the Week is just going to be somebody, guys. As I showed y'all in that first post, it is somebody that is active. It's how many posts you make, how many comments you have on other posts, how helpful they were, all of that kind of stuff. So it's doing super good, and that is going to be ongoing every week. I'm going to be able to pick out somebody to shoot some. Like I said, this week it's Mr. Randy Weaver. I will reach out to you through DM to verify your address and get you some seeds and a beanie sent out. We're going to get into canopy management techniques. We're going to be going over LST and HSTs and things of that nature. So I get a common question all the time, which is, do I defoliate? How do I do the canopy management? And canopy management, all that means is what to do with the canopy, basically. There's lots of different techniques and there's a lot of different acronyms out there that you guys may or may not be familiar with. We'll go over a couple of those. My favorite method when dealing with autos, especially when it's your first time dealing with a cultivar, when it's your first time growing out a strain, I always recommend going on the low stress training side of things, just because so you can see how it reacts to it. The LST stands for low stress training. It means you don't cut into the plant, you don't hack off a piece of it, you don't do anything like that. It's just simply the bending of the branches, either the meristem or the lateral branches, either the main stem or the one that come off of it, bending those and manipulating those in a fashion to effectively increase your light penetration. It's the name of the game, folks. Everybody knows that there's lowers or larfy buds. Nobody likes larfy buds, man. Those suck. Those are mids. We don't have no mids around here. So, we got LST candidates, we got LST training techniques that are going to be less stressful to the plant, and we all know that when dealing with autos, they can be finickier sometimes, and they can respond differently to how a photoperiod strain, because in a photoperiod strain, you always have that safety net and the crutch of being able to continue the vegetative state for longer, and extend whatever you need out and get the results before you actually induce flowering. So with autos, you don't necessarily have that luxury. But guys, we've been working with autos long enough to know that we're pretty sure we know what they're going to do, okay? And so we're going to have the low stress training is basically, so you guys have, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. It's going to be where you tie those branches down. Me personally, I'm a fan of tying the whole meristem down. Okay, what that does, and when I say tie it down, what do I mean? I mean that there's a bunch of different ways. I'm a fan of the binder clips. You guys have all remembered the little black ones. They come in different shapes and sizes. Well, when you clip them onto a pot, they've got enough grip to hold on to and a little place for you to tie your string, pipe cleaner, whatever you do. What you don't want to do when you're doing LST techniques is you don't want to try to bend that meristem over when it's a rigid plant. What is a rigid plant? Guys, when autos are in a vegetative state and they're doing their veg thing, they're real pliable, they're real bendy. They're real bendy. Then they start to develop an outer layer and a bark and start to get a little more rigid. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, but we won't get into it. So ideally you want to LST and low stress train your plant at that early stage and start doing it earlier. The earlier the better. Now you don't want to have one to seedling with no, not little bitty tiny plants, guys. But once they get this big and to where when you bend them over they reach the edge of your pot. That's kind of the rule that I always like to use, okay? And if everything's going right, you're going to have real bendy plants, and they're going to take that bend really well. And then as they grow, what you don't want to do is tie a string that's going to constrict that meristem or constrict that branch in any way, because that's going to cut into it. And these plants grow so fast, I've had it happen dozens of times, where it'll just cut into the... I'll have 80 plants going, and then I'll have missed a string one place, and then it's literally like a picture of an old tree that you might see a wire sticking out of, or it's growing around. It's completely engulfed the string and can cut and restrict flow in the xylem and the phylum to get the nutrients to that bud site. So you want to make sure that you got a loose knot up on the top of the stem, tie it down to the edge of the pot, and that's going to give you a lateral bend, okay? What you're doing there is you are essentially taking that plant and flattening it out. So you've got the bud sites that all come up like this, okay? Well, when you just have a plant that grows like this, naturally this part of the plant is getting the most sunlight, and it's going to provide shade. It's going to have shade down here at the bottom of the other plants, and we know that we want light to all parts of the bud site so we can all get those nice fat nugs even at the bottom. You do this with canopy management techniques like low stress training by taking that stem and bending it down. And as these plants grow, they throw out shoots and stuff, so opening up the middle of that plant while it's in the vegetative state is always going to be the best, in my opinion, and my favorite technique, the one that I use the most when I do canopy management, and especially when I was growing a lot more for flower. So, using trellis netting is a very common technique, and a lot of people don't think that you can do it with an auto. That's not true. I've got pictures. A lot of the folks that saw my creme de la cosmos grow last year, harvested in August of last year. or October of last year, something like that. Fall of last year, the one that I harvested, the last real flower run that I did was a 4 trellis, super scrog type setup, and it's you can do it. And for most people, the problem that they see with doing a trellis netting in a tent that you don't have adequate space for to move around the plant, you have to always bend to the back of it. Trying to water plants, and if you ever have to move them or flush them and stuff like that, it can get a little tricky. There's actually some pretty cool self-scrogging pots out there. They're just a pot and it has a little net on top of it, and so if you need to move it, you can. Those can be cumbersome too. If you have, again, just you guys will hear me talk about it a lot of times, the grow goals. It depends on what your grow goals are and what kind of actual access you have to your plants and what frequency you can attend to these plants. So that's what doing a trellis net can be effective. It can be good. I always say start very low and train it early, and you'll get your best results. High stress training techniques are not really my favorite, but they can be useful in certain situations. Lots of folks are just still dead set on topping autos. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it, and that's fine. One thing that I have noticed with topping is that it can extend the overall flowering cycle. I don't know necessarily what's causing it in a vegetative state. In the vegetative period, you get what you get. So my recommendation when it comes to topping or FIMing, FIM stands for fuck I missed, which I've always liked. I always thought it was pretty cool that kind of terminology kind of kept going and kind of stuck around, was the FIM technique, which is taking the top very newest bud site, so you've got the 2 lateral branches that have come out in the very newest growth, and cutting that in half. Okay, what that does is that allows the hormone production to actually stimulate and make the plant think it did get completely cut, and so it will then grow another two shoots. But it's not really that. I don't know. Just topping in general for autos is still kind of a thing that I don't really see a need to do it. If you're going to do it, I would suggest doing it after you've run a cultivar 1 or 2 times, so you'll know how the plant's going to go. If you have a plant, the best candidates for a topping situation are going to be ones that are very vigorous, that you see that by doing that, that's not going to really slow down the other parts of the plant, that it's growing well enough and it's charged, man, it's really going super all out. You get a much better chance of that plant recovering and sprouting new growth and doing it what you want it to do. Because what I've also seen with people that top them, if you top it and then it doesn't really grow those two secondary meristems is what it is, and it doesn't really do that to the same rate that you think it should, it'll stunt that, and I'll see, you'll have all of the bottom branches and then 2 little bud sites there at the top of the meristem where you don't ever really develop a main cola. Sometimes that can be by design. Some people that have issue with mold and mildew in the harvesting and drying process might want smaller nugs. There's a ton of different reasons for maybe wanting that. I can't think of a ton of reasons, actually. I can only think of a couple. But it's just sometimes it's not the desired outcome is kind of, I guess, what I'm getting at. That they're not the desired outcome of what a lot of people see in especially the photoperiod dependent plants is a uniform canopy where it's a candelabra or a candle type structure where it all comes out like that you can achieve that with autos just the same as just being diligent with your low stress training and making sure that each time one of those little lateral branches starts to grow up towards the light, that's what they're going to do. So you've got each of these branches that come off like this, and each of those little branches, each of those tiny, smallest, the first ones that come out, okay, those are always going to be trying to get to the light, all right? So if you take the main stem and bend it over, okay, well, don't snap it, do it when it's still pliable and still got plenty. This is a good thing for folks that don't use silica. This is a good reason to use it, is so your plants stay pliable and veg, so you can do these kind of things without snapping them. If you break them, it's not the worst thing. The rule of thumb is 20% tissue of the plant, if it's left, it'll still grow back. And I've seen even less than that. I've seen just literal strands of a plant left, and the branch was great and the bud was beautiful. So guys, that snapping a branch is not, it seems to be the end of the world. And I know a lot of folks make posts of, oh my God, and then they will quickly get reassured that it's something that happens, and it's very quickly fixable in most cases by just getting a little piece of tape. You can get micropore tape. You can get a little bit of honey. You can get a little bit of aloe vera. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to dress the wound to make sure it doesn't induce, there's no bacteria introduced into the wound. But for the most part, guys, these things grow so quick. If you do that, put a little bit of tape around it, make sure it's supported, and so the branch isn't, it's not top heavy and doesn't break it further. Then make sure it's a splint in some cases might be necessary. 2 popsicle sticks, take the tape and wrap it around it. And then if you take that off in a week, guys, with these plants in optimal growing conditions, you almost a lot of times won't even be able to tell that it was ever broken. It'll have a knot healed around it. You'll start to see the green bulbous callus tissue that you'll see a lot of times when you see at the very base of the lateral branch in the meristem where it comes out. You'll see that green, just real nobule looking thing. I love those. Those are so cool. It's indicative of a strong plant. So high stress training techniques. If you're an experienced cultivator, go with it. If you're trying to do some experimentation, go with it. Guys, if you're a new grower and if you're just getting into this, I would not suggest trying to top autoflowers at the beginning. Getting a good knowledge of what you're actually trying to do and what the outcome is, and trying to explore other training techniques like low stress training or even FIMing. Just about the hardest I've ever gone is what's known as super cropping. Super cropping is basically the actual active act and the intentional act of breaking that stem. Breaking that outer tissue of that stem will produce a callus spot, a knot, a knuckle. This is actually it's a method that I really don't use, only when I'm needing to, when my plants get too tall. When my plants get too tall, you go through and you take and I'm not joking, folks, because it's hard to do just to kind of get your thought process around. It's one of those psychosomatic things that going through and breaking branches is kind of tough on the psyche sometimes. So I got to drink sometimes to do it. I'll go in there, I'll get a good little buzz, and I'll go in there and start super cropping if I have to. I've had to do it 3 or 4 times because the plants got too tall and they're going into the lights. You can take it and break that branch a little bit. It'll lay over for a couple days. It'll grow a little callus knot there, and you'll give yourself however much height that you actually need. And so that's about as far as I like to go with the high stress training techniques. I try to tend to the low stress and everything. Yeah, roll it between your fingers. There's definitely a technique to it. I won't go into it here, but you can Google it. There's a lot of YouTube videos, and it's a feel thing. It's a feel, guys. I had to work a long time to be able to get what the feel was when they're talking about being able to serve, because you don't want to snap it in half. And so it's a very tactile kind of advanced technique. Look it up. There's a lot of YouTube videos on that. I won't go into it just because, like I said, I think you can get to those. That's in a need to use situation, which won't happen for a lot of folks. A lot of folks can just raise their lights or, whatever the case may be. And let's see, what else we got on the old agenda here? The 420, we got some 420 news, some 420 stuff coming up. I'm sure you guys have heard that our favorite holiday is right around the corner. Well, you know that here at the Dream Farm, we definitely love to show that love. So I've gotten some real good feedback on the Glooberry. It's going to be a release that I do have. I'm working on the F2, I don't know, the F2 or the F3 right now, and that's what will get released. I think it's the F2 that'll get released, because I've gotten some real good feedback. So the Glooberry is definitely going to be something that we're going to be releasing, and I'm going to drop a few limited packs on April the 20th. I will let you guys know in next week's Talk About It Tuesday what it'll be. We'll go into the Glooberry a little bit, guys. This is the Purple Rockberry and Blueberry Breath. All right, the Blueberry Breath was there was one pheno that really leaned really heavy into the Kong side of the Kong Breath. For those that don't know, the Kong, anytime you see anything Gorilla Monkey or anything like that, it's all back to the Gorilla Glue. It has the glue terpene profile, wood glue. Shit smells like fucking Elmer's, guys. I mean, seriously. It is the gluiest thing that I've had. And I taken that with the Purple Rockberry. That is I've got the one that I've got going out there right now with the reversal it's grape. I'm going to use it on that and the TMFG, the Too Much Fucking Grape. I know a lot of you guys are wanting that one as well. We're going to be releasing that one with our June drop. The new strains coming out. The new strains, I'm working them still, guys, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten it narrowed down to being the Glooberry, which is the, like I said, Purple Rockberry and Blueberry Breath, but it's the Kong-leaning, glue-leaning pheno of the Blueberry Breath, along with the very grapey super frost encrusted purple rockberry. And the purple rockberry, guys, for those that don't know, this is the breeder edition. This is the breeder cut, the one limited release. And I've been really, really, really stoked on the resin production and the frost. The frost on these things are just, it's second to none, guys. It's second to none, really. The frost from Rockbud is really the reason why I really dove heavy into using a lot of his gear, because it's just the resin production and the frost factor it's there. You never have to worry about it. And with the purple rockberry, that was really the first strain that I ever saw that I just couldn't tell the difference between a photo period. You know, you could have told me that was a top shelf, you know, $10,000 cut, and I would have been like, you're right. It had checked all the boxes. It's really just a fire strain. And so I've got that one working throughout several of my strains right now that'll be in the later summer release. For you guys that don't know, you know, basically every cycle that I do, I'm going to be releasing stuff. It's going to be stuff that has already had, you know, work put into it, and this is going to be the final release and the release ready for the public. The garlic slushy. That's going to be a good one, guys. The garlic slushy is the double berry slushy and the grape garlic bear. We're getting just super, it's crazy. It's wild. You guys are gonna want this one. All right. The Pappy Secret Stash, I'm continuing on that generation. It's going to be the F2 of those. The Stank Fist, which is the Blueberry Breath back cross that I've done, to the one that was real knuckled up and super, super rank. And then the TMFG, definitely doing that. That's the double grape and grape slurry. That's the one that'll get released, just because it's got, damn it, who is the damn tester? George Frumkin? I don't know. I don't remember who it is. I've got some testers going on right now, and he just harvested one. He said it's super, super rank, and it's got the grape forward, and everything that I'm seeing out of it so far is real grape forward. So I'm confident in the grapiness and the funkiness and the super badassness of the TMFG. So we're gonna have that coming out. What else do I got on here? I think that was it. For those that weren't here for the beginning, doing a member of the week. That's Randy Weaver this week. Member of the week is just folks who are out there in the Dream Bean Support Center supporting all of you guys, helping me out, and making the algorithms happy with our group. That's one of the key things that I have to be aware of all the time, is trying to make sure the John, shoot me a DM. We'll get you a replacement if it didn't pop. George, yeah, I think it is George that just harvested that TMFG, and that was John Ditterline. Shoot me a DM, John. We'll get you worked out. The what else do we got here? That's the 420 job. So what I'm gonna do is the Glooberry. The Glooberry is that's another one in my keeper stock. It's one of my keeper things. I'm going to get that put on the site for sale for 420. This week's Talk About It Tuesday, we will do 20% off, and hell, I don't know. Let's see. What do you guys? I don't know, because all you guys have already bought packs for the most part. So let's see here. I don't know what we'll do. We'll do 20% about it, 20% off, and for anybody that spends $50 or more, we will give you a free 3-pack of Pappy Secret Stash. So, if you guys want to make a order and get you some good deal on some beans, if you spend over $50, and that's before the discount, we'll go ahead and give you a free pack of 3 Pappy Secret Stash. I just came up with that on the fly. That's for you guys. That's for you guys. That's for you folks watching and tuning in and listening to hearing me ramble on all week about how I'm going to talk about it on Tuesday this week. We're talking about canopy management. You guys got any questions? I know this one's been a little short so far. Now that I actually have stuff written out on an agenda, I can just check it off versus just ramble on about it for 5 minutes of time a piece. So, what kind of questions you guys got? Let me see what you got here. Bring on the grape. Yeah, I'm trying to bring on the grape and the purple rockberry that I got right now that I've got reversed. I am definitely hitting the TMFG on this next round. Man, it's really going to be pushing the limits of what's acceptable as far as grape is concerned. Okay, this is going to be the grapiest grape that's ever graped in the history of grape before I'm done with it. And we're getting real close. There's still a lot of funky in there. There's a lot of rotten. There's a lot of rotten grape smell. But I'm looking for the faking the funk the real, just artificial grape taste that you get in grape sodas and grape candies and suckers and stuff like that. Any progress on the speedrun collab? No. Just because Ben is busy as a three-legged cat on an ice pond trying to bury a turd, and so am I. But it's coming. It's coming. I'm working with some of Ben's, the Granite Haze right now. I got the Granite Haze F4 going out there right now. I'm not sure. I'm probably actually going to hit that with the Doubleberry Slushy Grape Garlic Bear, the Garlic Slushy. Probably gonna see what I can get into as far as a cross there. But nothing official yet. We're still working out what all we're gonna do and how we are going to approach the collab. But when we do, it's gonna be fire, fire, fire. If you harvest a plant too, do you feel you can get by with less defoliation? If you harvest a plant, do you feel like you can get by? I'm not sure I understand the question, but I'll go ahead. That's something I wanted to talk about. I get a lot of questions about defoliation a lot, especially into flower. I got one rule: if it's covering a bud site, clip it, cut it off. If you've got a branch, however you can do it, if you can manipulate that plant and LST it, and there's also a technique called leaf tucking where it's literally just going. I don't have time to do all that. I can't leaf tuck every 6 hours because my plants grow crazy super fast, and there's a lot of them. So I will have a lot of the smaller fan leaves that are lower on the plant that aren't necessarily as old or haven't been exposed to as much light is really the thing. Those can come off, especially if you've got a really healthy plant and it's looking really good. Don't be scared to take some of those fan leaves off, especially if they're covering a bud site. Harvest the top of the plant, the bottom of the plant. Okay, yes, that is what's called staggered harvest. Brain fart, the dab. Staggered harvest is what that's known as. It's a technique known as staggered harvest. Absolutely, you can do it, and I do it a lot. It's one of the lesser known things here at the Dream Farm that I do. I've selectively harvested a lot and staggered harvest them in a I don't know why I keep thinking selective harvest. Staggered harvest, which just means, yes, man, if the top of the plant is more ripe than the bottom of the plant, harvest it. If it's looking done in the bottom, you can tell there's some benefit to be gained by doing it, which I really did it on the Creme de la Cosmos grow. Again, at the end of the fall last year, and it was really successful. I had those bottom ones that were just because I had so much biomass in there, and canopy management on that one got out of control. There's a lot of lower stuff left, so I went and we harvested everything off the top and let the stuff below go for another week and a half, I think 2 weeks maybe, and I was really surprised that those lower ones really, really hardened off and really gave you the density that you want. You're not going to really ever increase in size per se, but you can really get some better density by exposing those lower branches and those lower part of the plant, exposing them to light and nutrients for a continued period of time. So yes, absolutely. Damien, what's going on? Pound Dog, shout out to Ben. He's always doing good work. Looks like a lot of folks are really, really happy with that Pound Dog. He's managed to do a real good. I mean, everybody's happy with all this stuff, but yeah. Pound Dog may be one of the ones that we have a candidate, because it's probably what I'll do is just kind of we'll at some point in time, Ben and I will determine what the fan favorites are and just try to work those lines is kind of the approach that I'm thinking about now. So yeah, guys, that's what we got here. I got a baseball game to watch and a volleyball game to go to. If you guys want to check out dreambeans.net, use the code TALK20. We'll go ahead and do it to 20%. TALK20. That's TALK, all in capitals and no space. The number 2, the number 0, and you'll get a 20% discount on everything in your cart. If you spend $50 or more on your cart before you get, before the discount, you will have an extra 3-pack of Pappy's Secret Stash thrown in there for you guys. And that'll also have the Blueberry Breath Option 2 freebie in there. So you'll get 4 beans. And you get 5 beans because it says 5. So you get an extra 5 Pappy Secret Stash and a couple Option 2 Blueberry Breath. And Damian Lee's got his ready. His Blueberry Breath ready for 420. Hell yeah, man. Got some really good stuff coming on. George Fromgren, there's the guy. There's the dude. Man, there's the guy that we were talking about this whole live. Golly, George, where have you been? Not really, but kinda. George has been growing out tester of the TMFG, and he just posted a picture of the recently harvested lower nugs that we were just talking about. Says it's got some real great forward stuff. It wasn't really at first, but now it's really got coming through in the cure, in the dry, so that's really awesome. Super happy with the... you can't go to the store and talk about it Tuesdays, guys. Don't y'all know? You just got to sit at the house and wait for me to come and ramble on for 20 to 30 minutes. Hey, and there's Jen, too. I always forget that Jen and George are, they're better halves. They're each of their own better halves, so I like those guys. He's got some TMFG going. You guys go to his post on Dream Bean Support Center. Check that one out. Look at the nug that he's got. Ask him about his grow, and maybe you two can be like Randy Weaver and get this week's member of the week, which is just the guys being active and being helpful, and the ones that kind of stick in my mind the most. And when I go back and reference and all that pollen he collected. Oh my God, yes, George, man, that was the other thing that George did for all of y'all. He grew out a super stanky, what was it, great garlic bear? Yeah, a great garlic bear. And he said it smelled like trash. It was rotten. It was just absolutely foul. And he just sent me a lot of that pollen, which is awesome because I am also going to be using that moving forward on my GMO project. So I'm real happy with that. He did everybody a great service. And Vincent Gutierrez, I can't wait for you to place your first order too, man. I am super happy for all the new folks that have come in through my efforts and my Facebook advertising. Don't forget, guys, if you see my ads there on Facebook, don't click on them because it costs me money. But if you shoot a screenshot to it and shoot me a DM, I'll throw you an extra bean or two in your next order. So, will you send me a tracking number with my replacement beans? Yes, I believe that you should have, those went out this morning, Bobby. You'll have those, you should have a tracking number here. If you don't have it already, I'll check that for you. Shoot me a DM. I got 2 seeds soaking the BB Breath option 2 and BB Slushy. All right. The blueberry slush, doubleberry slushy is probably what it is. And about to order now, John. Don't forget. Hey, and wait for about 2 seconds, guys, while I can so I can go in there and update the code, the Talk20 code, so it'll work for you guys. Give me about 5 minutes once I end the lives for anybody that wants to do that. Again, place any order for $50 or more, and we will have you some extra pappies thrown in there. The Glooberry, guys, Glooberry, I'm going to do a drop next week, 420. You guys be on the lookout for the purple rockberry and blueberry breath that is coming down the pike. I don't know what the pack, how many different packs I'm going to do, what the quantity will be, but we'll let you guys know next week. And if you have any questions, there's a couple of guys that had some questions there. Shoot me a DM. You know, I'll get you some replacements if a bean didn't pop. Guys, we're always dealing with nature here, and as rigorous as we can be with and stringent as we can be with our germination tests here. I generally, it's hard to do stress tests on germination, so it's one of the areas that's just kind of, you have to take an approach and be all right with it. And despite all my best efforts in having everything germinated 99% better, people still ultimately can sometimes have issues because it is nature. And so you guys get with me. If you don't have a bean pop, I'll get you one sent out. If you have an issue with an order, if you want to know how to order any of that kind of stuff, shoot me a DM here at my personal account, Derek Shores, and I will get you guys sorted out. So you guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it now. Give me about 5 minutes or so, and we will get your Talk Tuesday code working. Again, that's going to be TALK20. It's going to be in all caps. TALK, no space, 20. And we'll get you guys, let's see, Freeman just started soaking a doubleberry and vanilla scoops. Nice. All right, cool. Hey, later, everybody. We'll go ahead. If you guys missed it, if you just tuned in, you can always take a look at, it's going to be featured at the top of the group. I always leave them pinned so you guys can go back and watch. So give me a couple of minutes. We'll go ahead and get this pinned up there, and then you guys can use the code TALK20, and any order over $50 without the code, you're going to go ahead and get some Pappy's Secret Stash. Later, you guys. We'll see you out there in the Dream Bean Support Center and in the multiverse. What's up, everybody?